Hey everyone! Welcome back to English with Tom and Julia. This is a space where we talk about real life, real feelings, and real struggles in simple, honest English.
If you're listening while walking, resting, or just trying to slow down for a moment, we're really glad you're here. Today's episode is for anyone who feels like life is on pause.
Let's be honest. How many times have you said, "One day I'll start. One day I'll change my habits. One day I'll be confident. One day I'll live the life I want."
And somehow, one day never comes. Not because you don't want it badly enough, but because waiting feels safer than starting.
One day feels nice because it removes pressure. You don't have to fail today. You don't have to be uncomfortable today. You can just wait.
Yeah. One day lets you dream without risking disappointment. As long as it stays in the future, it can't prove you wrong.
Most people think they're procrastinating, but what they're really doing is protecting themselves from embarrassment, from failure, from realizing they're not as ready as they hoped.
Starting means facing reality. Waiting means staying in imagination. And imagination is always kinder.
I want to share something real here. For a long time, I kept telling myself, one day I'll feel confident enough to speak up. One day I'll stop worrying about how I sound. One day I'll stop feeling awkward. And that one day followed me for years. There were so many moments when I could have started. Small moments, low-risk moments. But I kept waiting for a version of myself that felt more ready, more calm, more perfect.
I relate to that more than people think. For me, it wasn't confidence, it was direction. I kept saying, one day I'll know exactly what I want. One day I'll feel certain. One day I'll have clarity. And the truth is, clarity never showed up first. Time just kept moving.
What hit me one day was this thought. What if the version of me I'm waiting for only exists after I start? That was uncomfortable to admit, because it meant I couldn't hide behind waiting anymore. Yeah, we like the idea that growth happens quietly in the background, but real change is loud, messy, awkward. It asks you to show up before you feel ready. And once I finally took small actions, not confident ones, just honest ones, I realized something important. I wasn't late to my life. I was just afraid to step into it.
Waiting feels harmless. That's why it's dangerous. It doesn't scream. It doesn't warn you. It just quietly takes time from you. Every time you say, later, you're not just delaying action. You're slowly teaching yourself that your dreams can wait. And after a while, your brain starts believing that you don't really mean what you say.
That's the part nobody talks about. Waiting damages your relationship with yourself. Each promise you don't keep becomes a small crack in self-trust, and over time, those cracks turn into doubt. You start thinking, why even try? I'll probably quit anyway. But that belief wasn't born, it was trained. By waiting. Again and again.
And here's something that feels heavy, but it's true. Time doesn't pause while you're waiting. Life keeps asking questions. Opportunities come and go quietly. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you weren't present enough to step forward.
Waiting also creates this strange sadness. Not dramatic sadness, just a dull feeling that something is missing. You're doing fine on the outside, but inside, you know you're not fully living.
The cost of waiting isn't failure. It's regret. It's looking back and realizing you spent years preparing for a life that only needed you to begin.
People say, I'll start when I feel ready. But readiness is a result, not a requirement.
Motivation follows movement, not the other way around. You don't wait for clarity. You walk until clarity catches up.
Here's the shift. Stop asking, what should my future look like? Ask instead, what is one small thing I can do today? Not a big plan, not a perfect system, just one honest step. That's how one day becomes today. If you feel behind in life, I want you to hear this carefully. That feeling doesn't mean you failed. It means you're comparing your inside to everyone else's outside. Social media makes it look like everyone is moving faster than you, more successful, more confident, more certain. But what you don't need.
Feeling behind often comes from an invisible race. A race no one clearly explained to you, but somehow you feel like you're losing. You think you're late, but late compared to what? Someone else's timeline? Someone else's highlight reel? That's not a fair comparison, and it was never meant to be.
A lot of people are doing things early and still feel empty. A lot of people are doing things later and feel deeply fulfilled. Timing doesn't decide your worth. Presence does.
You're not behind. You're just standing at the place where a decision is asking to be made. And that moment feels uncomfortable. But it's not failure. It's the doorway.
So instead of giving you big advice, we want to offer something smaller, quieter, more realistic. After this episode ends, don't make a grand promise to change your whole life. Don't write a long plan. Don't wait for motivation to show up. Just notice one thing you've been avoiding. One email. One conversation. One small step you keep pushing away.
And when you notice it, don't judge yourself. Don't analyze it for another week. Just move toward it slightly, even if your voice shakes, even if you're not sure it's the right step. Action doesn't need confidence. It creates it.
That one small action isn't about productivity. It's about rebuilding trust with yourself, about proving, quietly, that you don't need to wait for a perfect version of you to begin.
If you can do that once today, you're no longer waiting for one day. You've already started.
Thank you for spending these moments with us. If this episode felt a little uncomfortable, that's usually a sign it matters.
If you found value here, give us a like, subscribe, and share this with someone who keeps saying, one day.
We'll see you in the next episode of English with Tom and Julia.